Yo, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be part 2 of our learning series. Today I have motivation. Now, the last episode I talked about discipline, which I believe is a lot more important than motivation. But not everybody's me. Not everybody has had the experience I've had. We all come from different walks of life. We all have different pairs of shoes, so you shouldn't go around judging people if you haven't walked a mile in their shoes. That's what I always tell everybody. Doesn't matter how old you are, young you are, how ugly you are, how good looking you are, how tall you are, how short you are, how buff you are, how skinny you are. You don't know where somebody's been. You don't know their walks of life. You just don't know what they've been through. You don't know if they've been through a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, happiness, sadness, it doesn't matter. You've never been in another person's shoes. So until you put their shoes on and walk that mile, just don't judge people, right? Obviously, you could judge certain people off of certain things, right? Let's say they're super upset about something, they're not doing anything to change their life, but they constantly complain about their life. Then you kind of have a window, not to pass judgment, but to instill wisdom in said so person. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. Motivation, the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. So if you just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna go to the gym, you don't watch any videos, you don't listen to any music, you don't pep talk yourself, you just go. That's more discipline. I'll give you a prime example of what I used to do when I wanted to get really hyped up for a couple months. What I do is I watch all the Rocky movies because I grew up with old school parents, right? Doesn't matter how old you are. you watch a Rocky movie, you're going to be motivated to go do stuff. If you watch a Rocky movie, you're gonna go want to run a freaking marathon, right? The way I recommend people get motivated, you do what you got to do to get out the door and get stuff done. You have to get stuff done. It doesn't matter. Certain things have to get done, right? If you need motivation to go to work, in my opinion, you should probably reevaluate your life. If you need motivation to go to work, yeah, I find that's more of a discipline factor, right? So if you need motivation to go to work, you need to change something in your life. You need to get disciplined. But that was last lesson. We're on this list. So, general desire or willingness to do something. You have to develop the will to be able to do something. If you're talking in a motivation standpoint, you have to develop the will. If you want to do a discipline standpoint, you just do it, right? You just put your nose on the grindstone and do it. The internal or external forces that activate, direct, and sustain behavior towards achieving a specific goal or satisfying a need, acting as the reason or driving force behind our choices and actions, whether from internal satisfaction, intrinsic, or external rewards, extrinsic. Let's talk about that. Doesn't matter where you get your motivation from, as long as you get it, right? Could be intrinsic, could be extrinsic. Doesn't matter where you get it from. Most of the time, willpower comes from inside. I always say, never say die. I get that from Dragon Ball Z. It was the episode where Vegeta went Super Saiyan and fought Android 19. When Android 19 was holding his wrist trying to drain the energy out of his body. And Vegeta had his feet on his face pushing off. He said, that's the spirit, Android, never say die. When I heard that, it flipped a switch in me. I tell that to everybody because nobody says it, right? People who watch Dragon Ball Z, yeah, they've heard of it, but they don't say it to people. People say never give up, never stop, never give in. I always say never say die. Because as soon as you stop moving, as soon as you become stagnant, you're saying die. If sharks stop swimming, they die. I say that about myself. Sometimes I'll be up for 2 to 3 days straight, no sleep, go to work, come back, go to the gym, make content, come home, put this content out on YouTube, long format, because I like long format. Very hard for our generation to keep track of long form content because everybody's just scrolling away on TikTok. The essence of clip format came out, keep your attention, right? That's another thing, another side trick. You have to capture attention the first few seconds. First few seconds of a video are important. So when you start a video, you could be like, boom, or reach out, try to grab like a new metal pose or whatever. You do what you got to do to capture the attention of your audience. So internal satisfaction. So that could be telling yourself you want to make a new goal. completing that new goal, and internally you're satisfied. So saying, I'm going to study for a good grade, then do it, satisfies you internally. External awards. So that could be training for a bodybuilding show and then you get your trophy. That's an external award. You know, you destroy your body in the gym, you eat right, you track your carbs, track your protein, you track all of that, then you go to a bodybuilding show, then they give you your reward. That's an external award. To move into key aspects of motivation. Energizes behavior. It provides the push to start something. Like I said with Rocky, you watch the Rocky movies, it energizes you. Every time I watch a freaking Rocky movie, I want to move mountains. You have to want to move mountains. Find something that will create this fire in your soul, right? And that's another important thing, the fire in your soul. It could either create something very beautiful. It could create something to where people look at you and be like, damn, I want to be him. Just like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. See Arnold just develop this beautiful body he had, right? That came from torturing himself hours and hours, weeks on end, years on years, to develop his peak physique. He had to destroy his body for that. Same thing with Rocky, or any fighter. You watch Rocky, he's going through an internal battle emotionally, but he still destroys his body physically. You have to do both in order to be successful. Once you crawl your way out of the pit, the climb's gonna be your favorite memory. I promise that. The climb will be your favorite memory. I promise. I'm still in the trenches, as I like to say, and I am happy to be here because I know I'm going to reap what I sow. If I bust my ass every day, give it 100%, there's no way I don't win. That could be the same thing with you. If you go in and day out, try your ass off at anything you do, I guarantee you will succeed. The universe is very, very giving. The universe has a bag of gifts just waiting for you. It's waiting for someone to raise their hand and say, hey, I've been giving it my all, day in and day out. I am ready. It will give you what you deserve. But if you don't do whatever you have to do, you're going to end up empty-handed. It is what it is. Now, directs behavior. It gives purpose in a specific direction to actions, guiding you towards a goal. Let's talk about that. Directs behavior. So if you're truly not motivated for something, you are going to go off course. It's very easy to notice. So a little trick I like to do, I like to punish myself sometimes. So as I said in the previous video, I'll scroll TikTok and Reels a lot, like Reels. So I'll punish myself, then blink and cure my brain. You have to step back and say, I just wasted an hour when I could have been productive for an hour. You have to wake up and realize that you are keeping yourself in the predicament that you are trying to get out of. You have to educate yourself on what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to end up in an endless loop, living a hedonistic lifestyle. You cannot do that if you are trying to escape the trenches. You have to go in 100%, day in and day out. Sometimes you got to go 150%. You have to lay down in your bed at the end of the day. No energy left. You have to get to that point to where if you're laying down and if you're not completely exhausted, I know a lot of people like to stay up and think about the future, think about what they're doing wrong in your life. You have to get to the point to where your head hits the pillow and you're just knocked out because you gave everything you had today. You have to give everything you have today. Not save a little bit for tomorrow, not use the saved energy from yesterday. You have to give everything today. So that will direct your behavior. If you start giving everything you have and you start to see progress, that will direct your focus to get more energy into what you're trying to build. Now, sustains behavior. It helps you persist in tasks even when faced with challenges. So a lot of people will work and work and work, and then they will hit a wall. And they will get so unmotivated and feel like, oh man, I tried so hard and I hit this wall. I'm tired of hitting these walls. I'm tired of struggling. You have to get to the point to to where when you do that, you have to get to a point where challenges come in front of you, you get excited. I just got to that point. I've been trying to do that since I was 16, 17 years old. And it took me until, I'm about to turn 24. It took me until now. And I'm still struggling with it. But it took me until now to get excited with any challenge that comes in my way. So let's say you're trying to hit a PR in the gym. You get stuck, you get stuck, you get stuck. The weight won't come off your chest. You have to let that excite you. You have to let that just light the fire in your soul even more. Because going back to the fire part, the fire can motivate you, be your fuel, but you have to control the fire because it can destroy you. It can turn into self-hatred, and self-hatred will bleed out onto others. And you will start hating people, and you will start seeing your self-hatred in other people, and that in turn will make you start hating other people. And hate something that you do not want to live with. Take it from me, the fire will destroy you and everyone around you. You have to keep your head on a swivel all the time. You have to be aware of where your energy is being directed and how hot your fire is burning, because it will burn out of control, trust me. Now, types of motivation. Intrinsic, driven by internal rewards such as enjoyment, interest, or personal satisfaction. Example, reading a book because you love the story. So, let's say you want to become a fighter. Like I said in the last video, I'm not a fighter, I'm not a boxer. I haven't even been in a fighting ring, but I do a good bit of boxing and MMA training. I hate the training, I do, but I love doing it at the same time because I know it's going to benefit me, it's going to make me better, it's going to make me sharper as an individual. So you have to love the progress, just like reading a book. You read the book because you love the story. You have to love the process because you love the outcome, right? That is a huge motivator. I don't like going to the gym. Matter of fact, I hate it with a passion. Because who wants to go to the gym and torture themselves? Not this guy. So, I do it because I love the journey. I know that this journey is going to send me over the moon. And the potential I think I have, it's going to eclipse that tenfold if I just keep going through the mud. You have to crawl through the mud. Extrinsic, driven by external rewards or pressures like money, grades, praise, or avoiding punishment. Example, studying for a good grade. When I was a kid, I didn't care about being rich. I didn't care about any of that, right? But as I got older, I found love in providing for the people that I love. So that drove me to start making more money, to start developing physical prowess, mental prowess, spiritual prowess, so that I could be the best version of myself to said so future wife and kids. So that is my intrinsic motivation, to chase money to be able to provide for future family. So you have to find both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Yes, you could go off of one or the other for a while, but you need both to culminate your dreams. So in essence, motivation is the why behind what we do. Discipline isn't really an action, I would describe it as. Like I said, I'm not a professional talking about this. I'm just putting my experiences in my life out to the youth or people older than me, because they might have their experience, but they might not understand certain things until they hear it from other people. That's why I always listen to everybody when they talk. It doesn't matter if you're 15 and I see a video and you're talking about motivation, or if you're 70. Now, 70 might have more experience compared to a 15-year-old, but let's say you take somebody who's 30 and someone who's my age, 23, I might know a lot more than that 30-year-old about certain things, and that 30-year-old might know a lot more about certain things than me. So experience, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, it just matters about your walk of life. You have to keep that in mind. Let's talk about these three things. So you could use it as an acronym, API. Activation is the decision to initiate a behavior. That is the first start of being motivated. So you have to activate the motivation. Why do I want to get better? Why do I want to make more money? Why do I want to go to the gym? Why do I want to eat healthier? Why do I want to train? Why do I want to learn how to fight? Why do I want to be the best version I can be? You have to ask yourself that before you begin your journey. Persistence is the continued effort towards a goal. Once you activate your goal, you have to be persistent with your goal. Otherwise, you're going to fail. It doesn't matter what you do. You are going to fail if you just quit. You can't quit. There should be no quit in you. There should be none. That goes back to my favorite phrase. Never say die. Once you quit, you die. Sharks stop swimming, they die. I don't know the scientific reason behind that. I don't know. I am not a biologist expert or a marine biologist expert. I think sharks are cool. Intensity is a concentration, vigor required to pursue a goal. When you do anything, you have to be balls to the wall about it. Balls to the wall about anything you do. It doesn't matter if you are learning finances, if you're going to college, it doesn't matter what you do. Going to the gym, fighting, keeping track of your macros, even if it's as simple as trying to mow your lawn and get the lines perfect. You have to be intense about it. Through practice comes intensity, and through intensity becomes perfection. Remember that. They go hand in hand. Motivation is crucial because it's the internal force that drives action, directs focus, and sustains effort towards a goal. It turns desire into achievements, boosting productivity, improving well-being, and fostering personal growth by helping you overcome obstacles and build resilience. Then you need discipline to carry on with your efforts. So, motivation is the internal force that drives action. Like I said, find something that motivates you, where you watch it, it flips a switch in your brain, and be like, holy crap, I need to reach my potential now. I need to start now. Doesn't matter if it takes a year or 10 years, you need to start now. So if you don't start, you're never gonna finish, right? You can't win a race if you don't start the race. Pretty basic. It directs focus and sustains effort towards a goal. If you're truly motivated about something, you will not stop until that goal is yours. You will not quit. You will never say die. It turns desires into achievements. Again, going back to bodybuilding, you desire for your physique to be absolute perfection. If you're just wanting to be the best version of you, you will study, you will learn the English language better, to better pronounce your words and express yourself, right? And in turn, by doing that, it will boost productivity, improve your well-being, and foster personal growth by helping you overcome obstacles and build resilience. So by building resilience, those walls that you hit, instead of trying to think of a way to go around the wall, or you see the wall, you tuck your arms, you put your head down, and you run through that freaking wall. If you can't run through the freaking wall, bounce off, get up, dust yourself off, and you find something to climb the wall. And if you can't, you claw and scratch your way to the top. Even if the wall is never ending east and west, you walk all the way east. If you don't find the end, you continue walking. Same thing if you go west. You keep walking. It doesn't matter. You keep walking. Like I said before, I promise, if you never quit, you never give up, you never say die, you'll get what you want 1,000% of the time. Now, you need discipline to carry on with your efforts. That's why I said motivation is always linked to discipline, and discipline is always linked to motivation. I recommend getting pure discipline because, especially as a man, that will help you a lot more. Every man and woman needs discipline if you want to be great. Even if you just go through life aimlessly just to live and survive, right? You need discipline. You need to go to work. You need to eat. You need to provide for your loved ones if you have any. Motivation and discipline are both driving factors to ensure that you reach your potential. Because why would you want to be anything less than your best? To me, waking up and not wanting to be your best is just idiotic. I see people working their 9 to 5s. There's nothing wrong with 9 to 5. I work a 9 to 5. But they don't want anything more than that. They settle. Settling is the same thing as dying, in my opinion. Settling is just accepting life, that it sucks, and not doing anything to make the most out of it. You gotta make the most out of life. It doesn't matter how hard it is, how easy it is. If you don't like your predicament in life, where you are, where you live, the people you're around, only you can change that. No one is going to come to your bed and drag you out and say you need to be better. That comes internally, intrinsic. That should be your intrinsic motivation. And then as an extrinsic motivation, it could be living in $1 million house, driving a Lamborghini, or whatever car of your preference. One time I was in Tennessee working, and I saw 3 Paganis pull up to this random gas station in the middle of nowhere. One guy owned them, and he let drivers drive them to promote them and promote his brand. When I saw that, something changed in me. I thought to myself, how do people have the money, $4 to $5 million, to spend on a car? Most people work their entire lives and can't even live in a $500,000 house. But people have the money to drive a $3 million car? Blew my mind. Every time I see a supercar, like a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a Maserati, it pisses me off to no end. Because, and this is another thing, don't be selfish with your thoughts. Don't look at it and say, oh, I work just as hard as them, I should have the same thing. No, they might have sold drugs or anything like that, but they worked harder than you. If you sold drugs and you drove a Toyota Camry, and they sold drugs and they're driving a freaking Lamborghini, they worked harder than you. They worked smarter than you. They wanted it more than you. You have to want it bad. And that's why you have to get motivation and turn it into discipline. Because motivation will only get you so far. Sometimes you don't have the time to sit there and watch the Rocky movies every day. You have to keep that motivation in your head. Plant the seed, water it, and it will grow into a plant of discipline. You have to stay focused on your goal, no matter whatever it is. You have to keep your head on a swivel at all times and go. You have to think of your goal and just go. Don't think about the consequences. Don't think about the struggle, because it will come. I promise. It doesn't matter what you do, how you try to avoid it. The struggles will come. You can't avoid them. But when they come, get excited, because when the struggles and challenges start building up, it means you're on the right path. As soon as I wanted to change my life for the better, I want to become a millionaire, doing YouTube and fitness has been my passion for a long time. I just never acted upon it. And that's totally my fault. Again, everything good that happens in your life is your fault. Everything bad that happens in your life is, again, your fault. Doesn't matter what it is. It always goes back to you. You always have a part to play in your life. So when you have your goal, activate that motivation. Man, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get better. Doesn't matter what it is. Then when you have that catalyst of motivation, you have to put jet fuel in it. A lot of people are happy to be losers part-time. They get motivated for 2 weeks, and then a new video game comes out or a football game is on. Instead of working, they'll go play that video game or watch that football game and say, I'll be a loser for another week, then I'll get back to it. When a rocket is freaking flying up to outer space, right? It doesn't stop and pause and then continue. It keeps going. You need to be a rocket. Once you load the fuel in, once you activate the thrusters, once you have liftoff, you cannot stop. You have to keep going. You have to be indefatigable in everything you do. And with that, I'm going to close this video. This has been part 2, motivation. There are plenty of more episodes to come. So if you like what you see, or if you don't, it doesn't really matter. You know, as long as you watch something or someone that's trying to benefit your life, you're one step closer to achieving your goal. I promise. So if y'all don't mind, like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all that nonsense. Share it to your friends, share it to your family. They might learn something. I will catch y'all in the next episode.